Oh, I forgot there was 2 Mondays this week.
Let's go ahead and move on to the next slate of our segment. It's the watch it, it's the skip it, it's the train wreck. Do we have anything this week, Patrick?
This is too long already.
Watch it or skip it. Watch it or skip it. Watch it or skip it. This one's a train wreck.
There we go.
That was beautiful. That's a 10 out of 10. That's your best work yet. That's your best work yet on that one.
Thanks. I stole a song from an old black man, like all good white musicians do, and changed the words a little.
There we go.
Although to be fair, I don't know if anyone knows who wrote that song. So
Somebody
Cool.
might.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into it, gentlemen. For this week, I actually have three contenders for the must-watch game of the week. Now we're gonna start things off. We're not gonna preview this game. We're just gonna because we're gonna save that for the previewing. But it's the Ravens versus the Dallas Cowboys. Now, there could be some reasons why you wouldn't want to watch this game, but you look from a narrative perspective, there's a lot to be said, right? You have the Ravens 0-2 for the first time since I believe 2008, 2009, I believe. And then you have the Dallas Cowboys coming off a bad loss. You have two teams with a lot to play for. Granted, this is out of conference, so this loss is kind of meaningless when it comes to the playoff positioning. But you don't want to be, if you're the Baltimore Ravens, you don't want to be 0-3, all right? At all. Your chances of making the playoffs at 0-3, abysmal, non-existent practically. And then you have the Dallas Cowboys. You just do not want to follow up a bad performance against the Saints with yet another bad performance against the Baltimore Ravens. So there's a lot on there. You have two talented quarterbacks. There's a lot going on narratively that should be your reason for watching this game. Next up, the Detroit Lions versus the Arizona Cardinals. Y'all, this is a game that just screams offense. It just tells me that there's going to be a lot of points on the board. You have just incredible skill position play on either end. Amon-Ra St. Brown on one side, Marvin Harrison Jr. on the other. Jared Goff, when he gets on a heater, he can be entertaining to watch. And then Kyler Murray is a human highlight reel waiting to happen, or a human low light reel waiting to happen. So there's a lot that can occur in this game. That's why I put this on here. And then the next one, it's a battle of undefeated teams. And this might be the first time we've ever had two of our teams on the must-watch game. It's the Minnesota Vikings against the Houston Texans. Yes, your Minnesota Vikings are on this week's must-watch.
Minnesota Vikings.
Listen,
no one should watch any of our games. Just leave us alone.
No, you watch this game because you want to see Brian Flores up against CJ Stroud. What can one of the better defensive minds in this league throw at CJ Stroud, and how can CJ Stroud counteract against that? And then on the other side, you look at it, Sam Darnold, he's trying to have a resurgence in his career, and then the Houston Texans defense, obviously led by DeMeco Ryans as a defensive mind. What can he throw that way to create chaos? This could be a game where, hey, it could be a low-scoring affair. It could be defenses are the story of this game, or somebody breaks the trend here, breaks the mold, and we have fucking fireworks. We have a good old-fashioned Big 12 style game. Who knows? That's why I put this on here. And again, a battle of two undefeated teams. Always an interesting narrative to put on there. So, gentlemen, I know who I'm going to vote for on this one. I don't know if you guys are going to vote for him. We're going to have a dead heat here. But my vote here for must-watch game of the week, Detroit Lions at Arizona Cardinals, baby. I just think that game is going to be a lot more fun. But I don't know. What say you guys?
I don't think there's ever been two not must-watch franchises as much as Detroit and Arizona. I have to watch Vikings Texans, so then I guess I'm left voting for Ravens Cowboys. Yeah. There's no way in hell I'm watching Lions Cardinals. I'll tell you that.
Oh man.
Yeah, just like Tom Brady, I'm destined to watch the Dallas Cowboys for the rest of my life. So yeah, that's where I'll be.
So, but is that the game that you feel is the must-watch for our?
Yeah, everybody should tune in because I think more people enjoy when they're losing, and then if they're winning, then I want more people to watch as I, gloat and act an asshole.
Fair enough. So I've been outvoted 2-1. Your must-watch game, dear audience, is going to be Ravens versus Cowboys. Now let's go to the must-skip-it part of this. There was plenty of games that I was like, yeah, not worth a fucking second of my time or yours. And these are the two most egregious matchups for different reasons. Giants and Browns. It's just two bad teams, right? Just going up against each other. You have bad quarterback play on both ends. I don't care that Deshaun Watson had a mildly okay game this past week. He still sucks. Daniel Jones, he still sucks. Giants fans, you're out here. I know there's the delusional Giants fans that say, you know what? Daniel Jones is better than Jalen Hurts because of these reasons. I'm like, bro, I can see the tape. You put Daniel Jones in the Eagles, he's
more money?
He's not good. All right? It doesn't matter. It was before the contract even.
I'm just wondering who makes more money because he's obviously the better quarterback.
Oh, Hurts makes more money, but he
damn.
didn't for a minute. He didn't last season. So you go into this and you're like, all right, Daniel Jones, he's trash. Deshaun Watson, he's trash. And then what redeemable qualities are there for the viewing experience? Malik Neighbors, if you're into
defense.
that.
No, Malik Neighbors was awful this week. He dropped a couple plays. They actually probably could have won that game.
Well, I think
dropped a couple.
I think it was a mixed bag, right? Didn't he get a touchdown earlier in the game?
Yeah, he did.
But no.
He was the only bright spot on that offense.
If you're a receiver and I see you drop two critical plays down the stretch, I'm automatically worried about you forever now. No matter how good the rest was.
It's tough, but when the rest of your team is garbage around you, I mean, how long can the back carry the load?
T.O. would have had every record in the book had he not got the yips for like 4 years.
Dog, I can't agree with you on the Malik Neighbors because he had 10 fucking catches for 127 yards. Like, what more do you want?
But two critical drops. If Daniel Jones manages to get you the ball, you have to catch him.
Yeah, I'm just not seeing eye to eye with you on that one. He should drop more passes, honestly, for my sake. But either way, this is a game that just shouldn't be on anybody's television. Or radio, for that matter. You know what? We should get the results of this game the old-fashioned way. Just the newspaper. Just what did the reporters say? Oh, and then this next game. Stylistically, like this just... No. Why? Why would you want to watch two boring offenses? We have the New York Jets going up against the New England Patriots. You have an old Aaron Rodgers who... I just don't think he can light it up anymore, and I don't think he's going to light it up against a sound Patriots defense. So the entertainment value there is kind of gone. And then you look at the New England Patriots offense; they're just a big bag of nothing. They don't really have anything that just says, "Hey, you should watch this product. This is a fun product to watch." So for that reason, gentlemen, my must-skip candidates are the Giants and Browns, and then Jets against the Patriots. I'm voting Jets. Not Jets. Sorry, I'm voting the Giants and Browns as my must-skip game of the week. But guys, I'm gonna leave it up to you guys to determine what our audience must avoid at all costs.
I would definitely love to see the Pats. I would love to see the Pats keep the Jets a little closer and keep that New York crowd a little feisty because they already are giving up on the Giants. So now there's still the glimmer of hope with Aaron Rodgers, and they've got decent running backs, so they can theoretically extend this window of interestingness for the New York football media for at least a few more weeks. But the Patriots are low key kind of like not fucking around. I mean, they're not that talented, all in all, but like they're not really fucking
top
around.
heavy, but it seems like they might have a higher floor than some teams.
Yeah, they're definitely out there putting together some good football. So even if they're a little mortal.
And I'm gonna break off here, and I'm gonna pick Panthers Raiders because no one should subject themselves to whatever that's gonna look like.
No, we already discussed this last week.
Yeah,
The Panthers
are-
are
Oh,
our
they're permanent.
perpetuals.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I was wondering. I was looking down the list. I was like, how did he not have them on there? Seattle, Miami might also kind of suck.
No,
But out
that
of
one's
the two-
interesting just because you want to see how desperate they get at quarterback.
Well, yeah, it's like it might just not be worth to watch it. It might be a train wreck. We'll see. But out of those two, I think Giants Browns is interesting, but because it's interesting in a bad way.
All right.
So
So-
skip that one. So I mean, skip the Jets Pats and watch the Giants Browns if you got to pick between those two.
So
Sorry.
the winner,
That was
the
a very
winner,
long
or-
way to go around and say that.
so the winner, or I guess loser in this case, is the Giants Browns, as Bethke is interested for Jets Pats. So we will now go to the train wreck version of this. Now, Pat, you brought up a good point with Seattle, Miami. I didn't even consider that when I made this because I just don't think of Seattle of being.
I think
kind of a train
I
wreck
think
team.
you might have been aiming the barrel at your own face a little bit with your pick.
Yeah. Well. Well, with
Well,
this
and also
one,
I think Seattle, Miami is more boring than train wreck.
yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, if there's an emergency quarterback situation, that could get interesting, but otherwise,
Yeah, or they just hand the ball off 500 times. It's not.
Yeah, Scott Thompson is bad, and Seattle.
Starts looking forward to what he's got to do. Him and A-Chain this week.
yeah.
Well, if you go by what the Miami
Just
fan base is calling Mostert,
Yeah, but-
they're calling him Slotster.
Yeah,
He
I mean he's not the lead back anymore, right?
No, not just that. He just looks genuinely
Oh, like
slower
he's
than he's
actually
ever
slower
looked
than
before.
he. Okay, sorry.
than he's ever been. But that happens to running backs, But either way, we'll see what happens in that game. I expect it to just be like an average NFL game, so that's why I didn't put it anywhere in between skip it or train wreck. Now this one, putting the barrel in one's face, I'm putting my team on this one, train wreck. Here's the reason why. This is a train wreck in that I think this is going to be like a fucking blowout, or the
Is it in
potential
New
for a blowout
Orleans?
is really high. Yeah, it's against New Orleans.
in New
right.
Orleans.
I
Yeah,
believe so. Yes, it is against New. Yeah, it is in New Orleans. And yeah, listen, that defensive line can't get to the quarterback. So if Derek Carr has a clean pocket to throw from, he can dice up. He can dice you up.
Dude, and that offensive line was like, I mean, I'm not saying the Cowboys did a good job by any means, and I want to reiterate that, but that offensive line did some impressive shit too. They had dudes running down the field at full speed with Kamara.
they didn't. Did Kamar? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Kamara
Kamara
had a
went
great
off. Kamara fucking destroyed. Yeah, it was.
I think he wasn't there week 1. Is that what I was
Yeah, he
thinking?
was. I think maybe they limited it. I don't know, but he was.
Okay.
He was there in week 2, and
Yeah.
boy, he was useful. And
Yeah,
All I
I think-
remember was
think I would
looking
be
down at not starting Shaheed, leaving him on my bench, and he had 20 fantasy points in the first quarter, and I was
yeah.
like, "What is going on in Dallas?"
Yeah, Shaheed was
same.
going crazy. Yeah, this game just everything here tells me that everything that I've seen so far just kind of tells me that the Eagles are in for another bad performance. That 13
Saints
and 4
defense not perfect, but they're pretty tough. Like they hit like a motherfucker. They don't seem to be a very enjoyable team to play against, even if they're not.
I think they're gonna.
It's
I think
Dennis
the
Allen's
Saints.
specialty, right?
Yeah,
I think the Saints defense is going to be the beneficiary of having a high scoring offense where they can just pin their ears back and not really care too much. And if there's one thing that the Eagles seem to struggle against, at least historically in the Jalen Hurts era, is that style of defense. He has been better, at least statistically speaking, this season against blitzing. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I just feel like this is going to be one of those games where the Eagles unravel, and that's going to make for, if you're a Cowboys, Giants, or Washington fan, it's going to make for great television. But otherwise, it's going to be a train wreck, especially if they put this in a prime position. I don't think they put this as America's game of the week. No, they didn't. Good.
No,
Good.
Cowboys.
Cowboys Ravens.
Yeah,
Probably,
Cowboys
yeah.
Ravens.
It's kind of surprising. We had Chiefs Falcons right there
For a train wreck.
If there's any excuse to do it,
for America's game of the week.
Yeah, that's
America's
all
game
fine.
of the week is almost always a Cowboys game, even if there's no reason why it should be America's game of the week.
I feel like Mahomes is slowly forcing some.
But they're
Forces
CBS
way in
mostly.
here. It doesn't, not anymore. I watched 49ers Vikings on CBS, and that was weird.
No, yes, they switch more, but it's still the Chiefs are still like CBS basically makes sure they get a bunch of the Chief games, and Fox basically makes sure
What?
they get a bunch of the Cowboy games.
They
That's
broke,
basically the way
they
they
broke
split.
some of that though. This
They
year with
did.
the new TV deals, like
They-
so, yeah. It's
but
not,
I don't
and
think it's going to be
only
that big
slowly
of a difference.
watering. Yeah, it's only going to slowly
Yeah.
water down more.
I'm still expecting a lot of Chief games on CBS and a lot of Cowboy games on Fox.
That's fair. Now, for this one, would you look at that? The Chiefs are going to be the 7:20 game.
So Peacock.
Wait,
So
that's the-
NBC/Peacock.
Oh, I
yeah.
forgot there was 2 Mondays this week.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
So
why I
anyway-
was, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're good. And then the other train wreck game. This is going to be a train wreck for the quarterback play. Because on one hand, you have the Chicago Bears going up against the Indianapolis Colts. Now, for all the praise that I gave Anthony Richardson in week 1, he came out with a dud in week 2. And you know what? It's bound to happen with a young quarterback who has not gotten a lot of snaps to play. He's a high variance player right now at this stage of his career. So, what does that mean? That means that he is capable of producing a train wreck of an offense. And then the Chicago Bears, somehow, some way, that offensive line, who got Justin Fields killed a lot, it's worse than they were last year. Their pass block win rate is significantly lower than last year. And Caleb Williams is putting up some pretty rough performances. And it's hard to be good when your offensive line is giving you actually 0 time. I believe on 36 of 37 dropbacks, they said this stat on a couple places. He was pressured. To be pressured on 36 of 37 dropbacks is fucking insane. So that's why this game for me could be a train wreck. Because how is the ball going to fucking move in this game? Yeah, gentlemen, my vote for this one, I don't know. I feel like my bias, I'll be called biased either way I go. So I'm just going to go ahead and say Saints-Eagles because I just think that's going to be a blowout. But what say you, gentlemen? What's the bigger train wreck game?
I think Bears Colts has more potential for wildness just because you got 2 young quarterbacks who, while talented, are still young enough to make some just crazy decisions. So I think we might see some train wreck in that.
Yeah, there's no doubt. It's like my 2 favorite quarterback prospects of the last however long in a game together. But the only trick is both offenses suck asshole. Let's go.